welcome to the Paper Snob. This is Tara. It is the last day of August. Can you believe that? It is time for Scraplift Crafternoon, and this week we are scraplifting this beautiful, very colorful, fun layout. And I will have the original creator's information down there for you below so that you can check her out and leave her some love. There are 10 of us in our little tribe now. Whoever's playing along this week, their videos will be linked in that playlist in my description box below. I have also linked our YouTube channels and Instagram accounts individually if you want to check us out. Sometimes going to Instagram is a great way to see what kind of layouts somebody that you are interested in following put out. Give you an idea if that's somebody that you are interested in following. So I have all that listed down there below, so make sure you check all of those out. Leave everybody some love today. We all like the comments and the thumbs ups that you give us, so please do that as well. I have a mix of product on my desk. Let me start with these. There were some frames on the original layout. I think hers were stickers or die cuts. These are Maya Road chipboard. They were bare, and I painted them a very pale blue. It is China blue. It's just acrylic paint. Very cheap, very old. Get it at Walmart, Hobby Lobby, Michael's. I have some jelly bean soup papers here. I think it's mostly jelly bean soup. And then I also have some My Mind's Eye papers as well here. I noticed that one of the papers she had on her layout was kind of a brick print border that she looks like she fussy cut out a little bit. I don't have any brick. I have this piece, and I'm considering attempting to do the same thing with that. I have a piece of white cardstock, and I have a picture of a sleeping kitty. There are some tabs from Pretty Little Studio, some puffy stars and dots from Allie Edwards, some Pebbles puffy dots, a couple title packs. I think we're going with Little Man, and the reason why I'm going to do that, probably because my daughter, my youngest daughter, Emily, would call him Little Man. Every time she'd pick him up, she'd go, "Hi, Little Man." So I just thought that might be a nice title for him. You'll have to excuse my kittens. They're on the other side of my desk making racket. So I've got all these papers. I've got my chipboard already painted and ready to go. So I'm going to pause. We're going to get started. I'll be right back. So I'm going to tell you right off the bat that this layout does not go as planned, nor does it stay as it begins. I started out by fussy cutting a piece of the chevron to put in place of Mary's brick border that she had below her photo, and I thought this was going to work really well. So here I am, just fussy cutting out this border. I love this piece of paper. I've got another full sheet in my stash. It is a My Mind's Eye paper, and it is, of course, relatively old. I think this is from either Collectible or My Girl. And I had both in the counterfeit kit box that I pulled all of this product from for this layout. And I pulled this as I was trying to put away some of my counterfeit kit stuff because we're coming up on a new month, and I have 3 boxes full of stuff underneath my desk, and I need room because I don't have another empty box for September's kit, and I just wanted to put up some of the product that I had in the one box so that I could combine it into a single box, and then I just have a huge mess in a box below my desk, but we'll address that some other time. So I got that cut out. Now I'm kind of looking at the papers I have, and I'm going to start by cutting some strips. I'm not going to cut all of these strips on camera because that's boring to watch. What my strips end up being are 1.5 by 3.5 inches, and then the thinner set are 1 inch by 3.5. And so I'm starting by cutting 3 of every pattern if I can. Some of the patterns I don't have enough to do that with, and that's okay. These are just scraps, and honestly a lot of the strips end up getting tossed because once I've cut them, I really can't think of a use for them right now, and I'm kind of struggling with having so many scraps and pieces, so I don't want to do that. So this orange piece here is going to yield some longer pieces, and I will trim everything down, but this just kind of gives you an idea of what I'm doing there. I cut down the first one to 3.5 inches. The rest of that orange piece of paper, the back side has a yellow ledger, and that is going to be kind of how I anchor my photo and the layers underneath the photo. So first up, I'm going to glue down that layer, and right from the start I am not incredibly happy with this placement, but I keep going. I'm going to put in the 4 frames that I painted with the light blue, the China blue acrylic paint that I showed you at the beginning of the video, and I'm going to go ahead and adhere down this border I have here. And this is where things start just not going right for me, and that's Jasper. You guys haven't seen him in a while, but he came up to say hello. I took this layout completely apart at this point. I just didn't care for it, and so I'm going to just play with a stencil for right now. And I do end up putting a lot of stenciled areas on this layout that gets covered. But mostly right now, I'm just stenciling and thinking because I'm stuck. I don't know if you ever get stuck on a layout, and well, this is me stuck. And so I just stenciled, and to my heart's desire, I really love this Vicki Boutin stencil. We used it in her cut and paste class at the beginning of the month for a couple of layouts. I adore this stencil, and it was still out because I still haven't finished the layouts from that class, but I wanted to go ahead and just add some more color on here. That is Pink Fresh Studios Mango Sherbet ink, and it is a beautiful bright orange. If orange is not your thing, I'm sorry, but I do really like that color. So I kind of put my photo anchor mat down to see where it was going to land on the paper. And what I end up doing here to make this layout more me is I squish that design down a little bit. And so I'm not going to put that anchor mat at the top. I'm going to let that stenciling at the top shine through, and then I'm just going to start laying out these pieces of paper. Now the funny thing is before I tore the layout, or actually while I was tearing the layout apart, I was talking with Lisa, who is also a part of this hop and is doing this Scraplift as well. We were just chatting about some different things, but as I was talking to her, I began taking the layout completely apart. By the time we were done, it was just a blank piece of paper again. So anyway, I just thought that was funny that I took it apart while I was talking to her and started, brainstorming in my mind. I didn't brainstorm with her about how things were going to go, but I had told her while we were talking through Messenger that I was not planning on stitching on this layout. The original creator, Mary, stitched, and it looks really great on the edges of her little strips, but I didn't really want to do that, and I wasn't going to stitch it all on this layout. But as I am putting these strips in, I realized that they're not being held down as well as I thought they should. So what I end up doing is I stitch a line across that bottom half just to kind of help hold them in place, and it adds some beautiful texture, which of course makes me happy because I love stitching and I love the texture that it brings. So I know, I'm just silly, but okay. So I do have all of those strips where I think I need them. I'm gonna pull the remaining strips out of the way, and we're gonna start getting the embellishments on here. I also brought in a couple of Cocoa Vanilla cut-aparts. I bought a couple of their very, very old digital collections recently, and I printed some of them for this counterfeit kit. This counterfeit kit is from earlier in the year, and I never cut any of it out. So that was the other thing I did on the phone talking to Lisa. It was I sat and I fussy cut a bunch of the elements, mostly stars, but a few other things, so that I would have an easier time embellishing. Now I'm using stars rather than hearts on my layout. And I also cut out the banners for from the Cocoa Vanilla paper, and I have already popped them up on foam adhesive because I know that I'm going to use this orange and white twine to string them across the bottom of my photo. She has a banner on her layout, and this is my nod to her banner. I did take great inspiration from the original layout, although in the end it doesn't look as much like hers as I had anticipated that it would, but that is okay. One of the reasons that I like Scraplift Crafternoon is that we can scraplift exactly, or we can just take inspiration from. Either are okay. It does not have to be an exact scraplift. This is just us taking inspiration from someone else's layout. And I believe that I got to meet this creator in Denver recently. I think she is one of the ladies that came from another country and gave us some nice little swag from her country, including some candies. You'll have to apologize the noise. I have a crazy kitten Penny who is dragging one of those toys for cats on a stick around the room where I'm at and making all kinds of racket. So I've got my bows tied on either end of my banner. The banner is stuck across the bottom of my photo. I pulled in a sticker tag from that sticker sheet. I'm sorry you can't see what I'm looking at, but what I am looking at is I'm looking at the stars on that Jelly Bean Soup sticker sheet plus some of the wordy bits. That one says, that's a label that says Dreamer. I thought that was perfect because he's asleep. And then the dark blue star says My Star. That set of stickers is actually a back to school set of stickers, and I kind of, after this layout, I left them out on my desk because I do have some back to school layouts to do here soon, and I just wanted to remember that I had that set of stickers because they got buried in my Jelly Bean Soup paper bin where I keep all of the Jelly Bean Soup and stickers, and I forgot that I had them. So I thought it would be a good idea if I left those out. I do not have a themed school section in my themes for scrapbooking anymore because I used up most of my school stuff already, so pretty happy with this. So let's look at the end. Okay, I got this layout done. After a bunch of trial and error, I am pretty happy with the way that this turned out. Off camera, I got everything glued down. I'm going to have to re-glue down that bow with some Nuvo. It didn't stay. I did some stitching, popped some of the stars up with foam adhesive, flipped up my little strips of paper like the original creator had, and that is about it. Everything else you saw me do on camera. Oh, I did add a little starburst here that says love on the tag hole, and I just added that tag because there was a tag on hers and looked like something that would be easy to add, so pretty happy with this. I want to thank you for coming to my channel today. I really appreciate those of you who take the time to like, comment, and or subscribe. Please check out that description box below because that's where that playlist is, and that is where everybody's channels and Instagram accounts are listed. That way you can check us out, see what we're doing. I hope that you guys have a great Sunday, and I will see you next time. Bye!